Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video we're going through the Collingwood versus Geelong game, in which Collingwood ended up losing this game to Geelong, which I don't think was a surprise. I may have gone for the upset there with, I think it wasn't the upset, with Collingwood trying to see if Collingwood could get over the line, but I didn't realise that having no ruckman would be no issue for Geelong, as they ended up actually winning the midfield battle, which was quite surprising given they had Stewart, Dangerfield, and also basically Atkins in there, and that won them the midfield battle against Dacos, DeGoey, Pendlebury, and a ruckman. So it was kind of surprising. But anyway, before we jump into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into this recap. So, as you can see here, we got all the scores here, and yeah, Geelong just dominated the game, 17-93 total score to 14-31 for fantasy. Darcy Cameron, 147. This is what happens when you play against no one, effectively. He just went large. I mean, the first quarter he scored 6, and then does that even add up? That's 74. 74 plus 40 is 119. That doesn't add up at all. That seems to be putting him short by a good 20 or 30. So I think that first quarter wasn't a 6. I think that first quarter was about a 26 or so. Let me just double check for you guys. Darcy Cameron's first quarter was a 28. It was 2 disposals and then also a where is it here? 2 disposals, and then hit outs wise he had he had 18 hit outs in the first quarter. That's why I was surprised about that. Given that I definitely realised early on that he was on track for something quite ridiculous, and that's what it was in the first quarter. And then it just went up from there. Josh Dacos, 102. He really isn't fancy relevant just because he's an up and down and averages 90 in the end type of guy. John Noble, a 102 as well. Not fancy relevant, you can see just here. With that 68, 46, 94, 63, 85. Then we get DeGoey here, who just really had a good quarter here. These stats don't line up. 22, 35, 70. They're missing roughly 20 points each of each stat, which is quite annoying. That is the case. Nick Stybottom, 90. Nick Dacos with a 90 with an 85 here as well. That is, yeah, that's short as well. They're just looking at that. That's short 4 points, something like that. That's 39 plus 32, 71. So yeah, that is short 14 points actually. Yeah, 14 I think. Yeah, that makes sense. 14 or 13 points short. Crisp, 69. He really just didn't get going, and that really did suck. His stats might actually be on there. Yeah, his stats might be close enough. 32, 50. 60, 66. So he's as close, I believe. But yeah, it just seems like the first quarter they didn't really count the first sort of 20 minutes of the first quarter, and that's caused these stats to be imbalanced a little bit. As Crisp had 9 in the first quarter, and yeah, he must have had 1 very early on that was just missed out. So that is the reason behind it. So yeah, he just got going in the second, and then not really. He's just on a wing, so I'm looking to get rid of him most likely this week unless something pops up. But like I have thought about potentially doing a Crisp to like a 900k midfielder, and then get like a Philippou or something like that. That has been sort of something that's popped into my head to do, as he's done all right, but he hasn't. He's really lost that role in the last little bit, and yeah, I'm looking to jump off of him now, as his L3 I believe is about 90 odd now. Let's actually just check that. L3 86.7. So yeah, I'm looking to jump off of that now, given the role has disappeared. As if we look at I'm going to check it on my phone, but his total CBAs were 13 out of, he still had 13 out of 27, so he still had 46% CBAs, but he just didn't really, and there's also his TOG was pretty poor as well. I'm pretty sure his TOG was low, so I don't know what the matter with that was. Let me actually just double check this. 74%, 72, 81, 85, 86, 81, 80, 88. So I don't know what's going on there as well with him. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But I'm probably going to jump off when the trade's open tonight. Quaynor, Frampton, Elliott, none of these guys are too matter at all. They were long, 43. He came on and, I mean... Well, he played out the full game. 43 not really fancy relevant. And then Reef McGuinness is the one that I'm intrigued about next year potentially, because he played a full game in the VFL and put up like an 80, and he's a tall midfielder, so he's like your prototypical like Paddy Cripps type of player, that 194 big bodied midfielder like a Bont. There's many others coming through now that are also of the case of a really tall midfielder. So I'm just really intrigued to see how will he go if he gets a full game, and how will he go with a full game in the midfield? Because I think he could be one that genuinely is one to watch next year. What's he averaging now? Reef McGuinness. He's now going to be averaging, 8 games played, average score of 31. 31 only puts him around that 270k for the year. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But yeah, he's had a couple of decent games. So, and he does kick goals. So it will be interesting, as I said, to see if he gets that midfield role or not. Myers, 116. He was pretty big as well. Holmes with a 114, big in the second and third quarter. And I don't know how much he made in the first, but it doesn't look like that is too out of the realm, as that's 45, 59, 97 in total. So he was about 17 short there. So he had a 32-point first quarter. It's 32, 30, 38. So yeah, he was really good. I have looked at potentially grabbing Tom Stewart, as he's gone 105, 125, 114 in this new role. So that was also a potential plan. But then I was like, do I really want to get McKercher? I'm just sort of going back into that play of grabbing into underpriced premiums, and I don't really like that. I will grab Stewart in a week or so time when he's up there again, as he is climbing very, very quickly with this new role, and he could be that last premium that we grab, and then we start to upgrade our guys. Mainly, maybe it could be the case of maybe going a Hayden Young up to like a primo midfielder, like a Dunkley or something like that, potentially something or other like that. Bowes, Humphreys, Dempsey, Duncan, Stengel. None of these guys matter too much. Humphreys was absolutely huge, just saying. Didn't really do much, and then 68 in the second half alongside a 28 second quarter put him on 88, 96. So his score actually wasn't impacted. He did nothing in the first 20 minutes and then just went off in this preceding. And he could have actually gone and done a little bit more if he didn't start cramping up from being that good at footy. So yeah, he did really, really well, and really, really happy to have him. And he could potentially, and I've also thought about this, is instead of getting like a Philippou or something like that, who did really, really well. I believe a Philippou made like a 90 odd or something. He made 93 after a 117 and has the Eagles. I could go for the likes of just having a Humphreys. So the plan is probably to have a Humphreys or a Philippou as that 22nd guy. And they will turn into the 23rd and 24th guy when I get the last upgrade in the week after. But that is sort of the plan there, is to have those two guys floating as that next best scorer. But I've also had the thought of why not just give it to Humphreys, save a lot of cash, and be able to make an easy upgrade. So I've thought about that as well. But I think Philippou right now with having the Eagles matchup, is probably the way to go. Stengel, Henry, Colin Jasny, Guthrie, Dangerfield close, Tui, Clark as well, 73 for him. It was sort of nonchalant, honestly. You didn't really notice him. Cameron, Mana slowed down massively in the second half with only a 27 after a 43-point first, a 39-point first quarter and 8 minutes. So I did end up taking his score, which did burn me 10 points to Dowling. But I'm not too worried about that. Blicavs, Jaconing, Atkins, Neil, Rowan, Henry, and that pretty much sums up the recap there. Geelong keep their top 4 hopes alive, to be honest with you. I thought that they would drop back on the pack, and I thought that if they'd lost this game, they could have been out of the 8 with the way it stands. Collingwood as well, they're down and struggling. They need to win, I think, 4 out of their last 6 to get in. I think it is. Maybe even need to win 5 of their last 6. I think it's 4 will get them in. But yeah, they need to win 4, and they have Brisbane and Sydney. So it may be a case of them having to win out. Let's actually just check their schedule. They got Hawks, Richmond, Carlton, Sydney, Brisbane, and Melbourne. And Melbourne just beat Essendon as well, so they're not out of it as well. But that is a tough last 4. You could legitimately say they could win 1 game remaining, and 1 game is not going to get them finals, considering they're out of the 8. So anyway, that pretty much is the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.